All right. So, hi everyone. My name is Kevin RC. I'll be presenting our proposal, SIBYL, the general purpose forecaster. I'll also mention two other proposals I have, onboarding NeuralProphet and monitoring soil health. So our mission is to democratize quality data-driven forecasting and bring it to the masses. So this type of forecasting is widely used by big tech companies like Amazon and Uber for their enterprise applications. And we want to bring this technique, this edge, outside of big tech to smaller and yet more numerous enterprises, from retail to mom and pop shops. So why forecasting? Forecasting is like the headlights on your car. Quality forecasting, like having high beam light, can illuminate further down the road, and this helps you, the driver, to react faster, be more adaptive, and make better decisions. But why is forecasting so hard? Well, forecasting means predicting future time series data, and real-world time series data can be quite messy, variable in terms of number of data points or types of features, and also quite domain-specific. So it is quite hard, if not impossible, to have a one-size-fits-all AI/ML methods. So that's why a lot of traditional statistical econometric methods are still being used in time series. So our solution is, instead of building another state-of-the-art type model, one size fit all, that's something that big tech companies like to do. They have billions of R&D budget. Why not take the existing models, methods available, and ensemble them, combine them, complement each other's strengths and weaknesses? So that is the essence of SIBYL's architecture. SIBYL employs an assembling approach called stacking, where it first takes various types of models and methods, including our own NeuralProphet, which will be onboarded as a separate service as a proposal number 2. These models will then be aggregated into base outputs by the meta model, which will then be creates the final output that will be given to the user. This stacking architecture will be wrapped up into a SIBYL API service where the user can interact with it with the train and predict API functions. So a simple toy example to illustrate this API function. So let's say that you have a retail crypto trader who wants to extrapolate the future price of AGIX tokens. So she will first get the historical data of AGIX, which is right here, as well as the time, like date times, as well as any other time series that could be relevant. She will then feed it into SIBYL, and then this will train the base models within SIBYL architecture. She will then ask to put some forecasted date times, and SIBYL would then produce the forecast columns. So this is just a toy example, not actual investment advice. So here's a visualization of the AGIX historical price, as well as the forecast. Although this is currently using just NeuralProphet, hopefully we can get even more results using the ensemble model, SIBYL. And here's a web app with 88, a live web app with the ADA price that you can access using this link. This is also powered by NeuralProphet. So the use cases for SIBYLs include, first, I'll be working with Matt from SNET. He's also here on this call on some sustainability challenges, including monitoring soil health, and that's our separate proposal number 3. Second, I'll also be collaborating with Nate from Cogito, Rafe, with Singularity DAO, Jim, a professor from Johns Hopkins, on a number of crypto finance trading problems. And finally, I'll also be working with a local restaurateur in Washington, D.C. to forecast future sales of items of their dishes using this point of sales data. So you can see the various types of use cases we can use with SIBYL as the general purpose forecaster. And here's our wonderful team of teams and advisor, our own human ensemble, most of which of whom are also on this call. So me and Oscar created also develop and maintain NeuralProphet, the open source library, which currently has 1.3 million downloads and 2,700 GitHub stars. And here's also some of the institutions that we are from, past and present. And here are the funding amount for the 3 proposals. These are independent standalone projects, but also could complement each other if multiple of them are funded. So SIBYL, NeuralProphet will be open source, and SIBYL, what I'm presenting right now, also has revenue sharing as well. So yeah, thanks for a really quick presentation. Yep, and I am done, and I'll be happy to take any questions now. Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting. I feel like the timer it didn't work. Yeah.
Sorry, I think it went a few seconds over time.
Oh, it's okay. My mic didn't catch the ringtone. Sorry about that. But thank you very much for the presentation. We'll find another solution about the countdown. Yeah, then we have 2 minutes for any questions. And please, anyone, feel free to jump in or raise your hand, however you feel comfortable.
Maybe you can stop sharing, Kevin. I think that might be, yeah, we'll see each other's faces. If nobody has a question, then I always have a question.
Okay. I have a question, actually. Since the goal is to democratize it, how's like the pricing model for someone that wants to use the API? Is it quite accessible? Because I know running those algorithms could be costly, so just kind of wondering how that would work.
Yeah, so in that example, I showed that's more like an illustration of how the API UI works. So I think the answer is yes, it is accessible, but the question is whether this is like the right use case for this application, and that is something that our team will work with the end users, like to ensure that the data that they're using is indeed like the appropriate use cases for our model. Yeah.
First of all, I want to compliment you, Kevin, with a really great proposal. A lot of attention went into it, just like this presentation. Your proposal is very technical, but this presentation was really very accessible to anyone. So thank you for that. That's not a question. The question that I have is, where would that training of that model take place, in your opinion, your idea?
Yeah, that's a really great question, Yan. So that training will be done within the SIBYL API service within the stacking architecture, where you have the different base models, and then the different base models would train if it requires training within there. So I understand that there could be some questions around like computation about whether that takes a lot, and that's something that I'm hoping that I can further work with you and your team with addressing more of the infrastructure as well.
Yeah, so we will have training. We have it now, but in a very primordial stage. We will have training options available on the platform. I wondered if you were making your own front end to these services. These services will live on the platform for transactional purposes. If you will make a front end for the training, or if you will rely on us and the platform to do that for you.
Yeah, I think that's an open question. I think it depends on what are the capabilities on your platform, but we are also looking at cloud applications such as AWS as the backend if needed.
Yeah, well, we'll have computing for that anyway, but it's more like the interface and everything around it. But it would be great working with you, and should you be awarded, to flesh out also a good way to use training also for this kind of service. I think that's well over 2 minutes already.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.